Welcome to the Bridging Broken to Breakthrough podcast. I am your host, Maria Wingard. I share how hope will arise out of our past broken relationships, fractured families, and personal struggles. Come walk a mile with me as we allow Jesus to clean out the mess and organize the rest. Today's episode is titled, Messed Up Walls and a Tiny Paintbrush. I bought the same brand and style of paint I had just used on multiple rooms, but for some reason, today's painting was not going as planned. I just had no idea what to do with this train wreck, except try to muddle through the botched job somehow. This should have been a 2-hour job, but here I am, almost in tears 8 hours later, because I have no idea how I'm going to fix these walls. I was seriously contemplating cutting out entire sections of drywall and completely redoing the walls. In lieu of my most drastic solution, my very level-headed husband, Kevin, suggested that I just try sanding down the worst of it and touching up those spots. It was worth a shot. I felt defeated. Why did this happen? I had used the exact same paint, and it was great quality paint. I'm the same person that painted the previous rooms, and even though I'm a very interactive painter, I was fairly certain that this wasn't a user error. So what went wrong? Regardless, day number 2 had me going at it again and was just as tedious as day 1 while I sanded down the worst sections of the botched up walls, only to repaint. I was pleased with the outcome. Not too shabby of a fix, and I could definitely live with it. Until I started to remove the tape. This is where it went from fixed to horrid all over again, with every pull of the tape for chunks of paint peeled from the walls, even though I had used a knife to cut it off. Now, my only option for saving this awful train wreck was a tiny brush and a ton of patience. Day number 3 had me slowly and deliberately painting in all the jagged paint edges and along the ceiling and baseboard. While I was painting, I felt the Lord speak to me the entire time, over and over, with each and every teensy-weensy brushstroke. I guess I'm a slow learner. Sometimes you just need to paint life with a tiny brush. There's some situations, Maria, where the paint roller and cut brush will not work. It will be difficult to paint the big wall with a tiny brush, but keep at it. So, with tiny brush strokes from a teensy brush, much attention to detail, hours of time, I started to fix the walls. As I'm painting, I hear him continue. In this life situation, you still want to try to use the paint roller because it's always worked. Don't. For in this life situation, you're going to need a lot of time, a lot of attention to detail, and a wipe rag for all the mess ups, because you will mess up, so prepare your heart for it. This will require work on your part with no effort from the wall that is actually stonewalling your every effort. It's so true that sometimes you can be the same person doing the exact same thing you've always done and can do well with excellent results, but for whatever reason, maybe a bad can of paint or bad walls, this life paint job is botched and it seems that the walls of life are ruined. So you have a choice. You can rip out the drywall and start over, or keep the cards you've been dealt and decide to painstakingly fix it in a very labor-intensive, time-consuming way. Either way, it's a lot of work. Sometimes in life, we can do what we've always done, or just even have a simple bad day and in the blink of an eye, end up with horrid results. It's not that you're not a bad painter. You're excellent at what you do. And the paint, it's great. But for whatever reason, the combination of you and these walls of life are creating botched sections. and you're not sure how it happened, but nonetheless, here you are with botched walls and no clue how to fix them. So you finish painting the room, angered and frustrated because nothing you do seems to fix the mess, just like life. Sometimes you feel like nothing you will or could do will make any difference at all. Sometimes we're so good at painting walls that we don't know what to do when it doesn't go right. But keep at it. The results will be worth it. The paint color is spot on perfection. It becomes the glue that completely ties the room furnishings together. You will appreciate the beauty of the work and time invested, causing you to love this room and these walls more than any other, simply because it was such a labor of love. In life, so many people want to cut out sections of their lives and people, throw them away, and try to patch the wall with something new because they don't want to invest time and hard work into fixing what they already have. And trust me, no matter how good you are, even the pros struggle tying old and new together. It just never turns out right. The botched wall spots stand out like a sore thumb. And I understand, not every situation is completely dependent on you, and you can make every effort in the world, and that's not going to change anything. But my thoughts after my labor of love are what I've always thought about life and relationships. You might as well just work with what you have and invest in those in your life instead of looking for something new. If you have a mess, go to work and figure it out with a tiny paintbrush if necessary. I am grateful you have decided to come walk a mile with me, your host, Maria Wingard, on the Bridging Broken to Breakthrough podcast. To find out how Jesus bridges broken to breakthrough and to listen to past episodes, visit hopewillarise.com, and thanks for listening today.